Good day, OZMINING here. We are starting today's video with some awesome content, which is an empty box. The content has never been so good, but something game changing has just landed and is already out of the box, and I've got my electricians to install it. What is this thing, you ask? Well, let me show you. It is from our friends in the US, ALPH Tech. And I have ordered some of their PDUs already, which are fantastic, and I've seen some of the community miners and fellow YouTubers like HIVEOS Mining use these guys and their PDUs, and the ones that I have brought to date and have been really good and solid and effective are these ones here. So these are, there you go, 30 amp PDUs. I got the sleeve plug version. I think Phil Darth in New Zealand has also got them, and I think from watching those guys buy them and use them, I also jumped on board and got some of them. But there's something new out, and I'm talking really new and fresh, which ALPH Tech are now selling, and that is these Virgo Smart PDUs. What's smart about them, you may ask? The main thing for me, which is smart, and it is potentially a massive game changer, is you can actually program these PDUs on the actual sockets, so the C19 or C13 cables. Let me try and zoom in a bit better there. You can actually switch these to switch on and off on a schedule or a timer. Now, I have a massive solar panel system above the warehouse here, up there, just under 150 kilowatts of solar, which is really, for me, keeping me competitive and profitable in mining right now. But when the sun goes down, I am at the mercy of the power companies and what they charge. So whilst my average electricity cents per kilowatt rate on average is okay and profitable, my thinking is, if I can actually turn things on when I've got free power and potentially power things down when I've got more expensive power, it's actually going to give me a bit more control, maybe a potentially an advantage, and I can kind of ride out some dips and pumps more to, I guess, maximize profitability, essentially, not necessarily maximizing revenue, which might not always be the most profitable outcome. So I have purchased one of these. It has landed and it is installed upstairs. Are you keen to see what it looks like and how it works? Well, it's only just got in now, so let's go and have a real quick look. Let's have a go. So I got my Sparky to put it in. It took about an hour for them to get it in, and they've dropped it down from the ceiling. But so you remember so far that we have these previous, they're not smart, I wouldn't call them dumb PDUs, but these are just on-off PDUs that you could either switch off here, which does the whole unit, or the only other way to really switch off machines is to, well, if you've got L7s, there's actually no switch on the L7s, so you really are back to switching off everything in one go. However, this new Virgo Smart PDU, it is under here, it's mounted, and it is massive. Look at the size of it. It's about 4 times fatter than the other standard PDUs, and you'll see here that it's got measurements for all the different PDUs. It has Ethernet because it's smart and we want to control it independently. And if we go on the other side of it, it's 30 amp rated again. Sorry for the noise. We have over there, sorry it's quite dark, we have 4 C13 and 2 C19, or the equivalent C20, C14 plugs over there. So, and that then can all be controlled and measured here. So let me go and show you the software downstairs. Let's get out of this noise. Yeah, and I'm really excited about this. I really think it's going to give me a lot more control and planning around when I want to switch on and off electricity. When I've got the free power, it really doesn't matter what I switch on. And if I want to shut down in the evenings, then I can do that. So if we look at the, where are we? Let's go. I've got it here somewhere. Here we go, PDU. So just a basic log in at the moment. It kind of brings you up this dashboard then, which is kind of, it's pretty basic. I wouldn't say it's super like sexy or looks really good, but it does give you an overview on the PDU, the real-time voltage and power, which I haven't got anything going through it apart from a fan at the moment. So oh, so what it does actual power. So you see there, it's got 0 at the moment. Let me zoom in. So what's it actually doing at the moment? 0, because I've got it switched off. Energy then is the amount of power I've done since I've reset it. So it's done 184 kilowatts. Then it's got temperatures and other things like that. Let me show you then. It's got controls. So you can control all the PDUs. You can actually remotely do them on and off on a laptop or a phone remotely, which again is really great. Then you've got timing. This is the game changer for me. You can actually set weekly timing for these to come on and off. Now, switching on for an ASIC, I like that. Just flick it on. Switching off, I may look at a way to maybe either put the ASIC in sleep mode or perhaps use something like HIVEOS or another software to first put it in sleep mode before I hard switch it down. So again, any feedback on that, what softwares you use to power down units, because I don't think I really want to be switching these off hard mid-flow. I will keep the fans flowing, and again, that's the beauty of this. I can keep the inline fans flowing. So if I show you, for example, I can power down my ASIC. I can leave these running for another 5 minutes so the ASIC stays super cool. And then that way it means I'm not shutting down my ASIC and it's really hot and maybe potentially doing some chips or the thermal paste some damage. So my plan would be, and I can do that with this Smart PDU, is power down the ASIC, leave this running for 5 minutes and then power this down. So all the power is shut down, but just stepped so it's not all happening at the same time. But I do still think I will probably look to put my ASICs in sleep mode before I still do a power down, if that makes sense. So, but yeah. So now there is one update. So this all looks really good. It's all there's settings in here, so you can set up your internet settings. There's other controls as well, like startup times. So it's pretty basic, but it all is kind of pretty obvious and set out in a way that is pretty easy to understand, even if you're not super tech savvy like myself, or at least compared to some other crypto miners. However, I will just jump to the chase here. I have had this running for a few days, and one major issue is the actual timer control, and this is now a known issue. I think I've raised it back to Altair Tech. If you set the timings here, it doesn't actually impact and put the timings into place, which is kind of one of the whole points of this PDU. So I have actually just emailed off to Altair Tech, just telling them that there is an issue with this, and they've actually very quickly came back to me and they said, yeah, there is actually technically a fault with these, but they're going to get this software update and send this through to me really quickly. So potentially these are going to be game changer, best PDUs in the world. There is a little glitch with actually getting this timing settings activated, but I have good communication with Altair Tech. They're sending out a patch really soon. Once I get that, I will get that patch done and I'll update you, and hopefully I can really showcase all the amazing things that these PDUs can do. But what I will say, things aren't always perfect in crypto, but if you've got suppliers which are really communicative, will work with you, that's fine, you know, and I've got no issue with that if things aren't perfect, and they're willing to fix it and help us, and that's kind of what really the community is all about. Even though I purchased this, I know there's good support on the other end of it as we get these up and running. And once we do get these up and running, I really think it's going to be pretty massive for me, particularly here in Australia with the solar panels that we have up and running. So that's just an update there. Game-changing PDUs, but you just have to wait a little bit longer until we hopefully get that patch and we can really do the timings, and then I'll show you guys how the timings work. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Crypto's not always straightforward, but we work through it. You've always got to be a bit of a, I guess, a problem solver in the world of crypto. So yeah, keep watching guys. I'll keep you guys posted, and I will see you on the next video of Oz Mining. Take care. Goodbye.